Welcome to Amy Learns to Cook. On the show today, we're going to make potatoes O'Brien. This is one of my favorite breakfast side dishes. I usually cook this on Saturday or Sunday along with bacon and eggs and maybe even some pancakes. We're going to be testing out my new potato pan, which is a Calphalon 13-inch deep skillet. So join me as we make potatoes O'Brien. The first thing I did is I chopped one large onion up. I did that in advance. I'm also chopping some sweet peppers. These are multicolored sweet peppers that I got from my local club store. And you can use these type of peppers or you can just use bell peppers. And it's good to use different kinds because different colors, because it just makes it a little jazzier, right? So we're just going to cut the ends off, and then we're going to cut them down here, and I'm going to go take these to the sink and wash them. Okay, so I washed our peppers, and while I was washing them, I removed the seeds, and we're just going to cut them into fairly large chunks. You don't want them super small, because otherwise they'll burn and you won't be able to taste them. And we're just going to put them in our bowl here. I've peeled and cubed up a bunch of potatoes. I actually used like 4 or 5, and these are pretty big potatoes. So cube up however many that you want. If your potatoes are small, obviously you need to use more. But these were really big russet potatoes, so I cubed that up. We have our cubed potatoes, we have some sweet peppers, and we have our onions. Now let's cook the potatoes. We're going to hold out on the peppers and onions for a minute because we don't want them to overcook. We're going to put those in when it's about 90% done so that they come out the perfect doneness. So we're going to go ahead and put all these potatoes in, and this is going to make sort of a grand entrance, right? Woo! And what I did when I cubed these is I rinsed them really good to get off the extra starch, and then I soaked them in some water to keep them from browning. Then I drained them on some paper towel or a napkin. And we have this oil at about 350. We are going to cook these until they are probably 80-90% done, and then we're going to put in our rest of our ingredients. I'm going to put a lid on it for the first maybe 5-10 minutes just to get them going and to help them soften up. Okay, so we let these soften up a little bit. We took the lid off, and now we're going to let this go so they will brown. One of the things is about cooking these kind of potatoes is you don't want to put way too much oil in there, because that's basically going to give you fried potatoes. We want just a small amount of oil so that we get a crust on these potatoes, and that's what makes potatoes O'Brien so great, is that little crust. So you just want oil to cover the bottom layer, and you want to leave them here. You want to let them steam a little bit with the lid on. Then you want to leave them here and let them sit there and let them brown there. And then we'll flip them. If you stir it too much, the potatoes are going to break down, and it's not going to be, nice separate pieces of potato like you want with potatoes O'Brien. So we're going to let this brown up till it's about 80% done, and then we're going to put in our sweet peppers and our onions. We got a little bit of browning on. We're going to put our sweet peppers in here. Wow. looks and smells really good. Then we're going to put our onion. Put the rest of these peppers. Okay, so I'm going to season our potatoes up with my favorite Creole seasoning here. And they're getting really brown. The peppers are getting tender. The onions are getting tender. Looks really good. I may have stirred them just a little too much because I broke up a couple of the potatoes. But I don't mind, right? I'm going to put some of these on a platter here because we're going to serve them up for breakfast. Wow, they look so good. The peppers and the onions. This is going to feed a crowd. And this was only a couple of potatoes. This wasn't a huge amount of potatoes. But it makes a big pile of beautiful potatoes O'Brien. Wow, so that's a plate of potatoes O'Brien. We're going to plate up an individual plate and we're going to take a taste. I put a little bit of my favorite jarred fire roasted salsa on here to eat this with. Wow, it's great. The Cajun seasoning is a little spicy. The potatoes are nice and crusty. The onion really adds a lot to it. And the sweet peppers definitely add a lot to it. Wow. This would be great with some eggs and bacon. Delicious. If you like this recipe, please leave me a comment and subscribe because there's more videos on the way. Also, visit my website at amylearnstocook.com, and I'm on Pinterest and Twitter at Amy Learns to Cook.